Hello and welcome to this tutorial for Blackboard Learn. Today we're going to take a look at the Rubrics tool. Blackboard makes it very easy to create a rubric and attach it to various assignments, discussion forums, and even test questions. So let's go and take a look at how you use the rubric. If you scroll down to your control panel and you click on Course Tools, you'll be able to get directly to the rubrics. Once you get into the rubric, you'll have two options: to create a rubric or import a rubric. Since we have no rubrics created, we'll go ahead and create one. So the very first thing is give it a name. I'm just going to call mine Rubric 1 for this demo, and any kind of description you might need to add in. A little bit lower on the page is where you'll be able to build your rubric. So here we are in the rubric detail. Now by default, your rubric will have 3 columns and 3 rows. They'll already have names associated with them and have a little bit of setup done for you. Now if this is not the way that you set up your normal rubric, it can all be changed. It's as easy as going to the drop-down button, following the name, clicking it, and selecting Edit from List. You can give it any kind of name, and hit Save. The same things will work for level achievement as well as for criteria. You can also remove rows by clicking the drop-down arrow and clicking Delete Row. And the same goes for your columns. You'll have a few different options in the rubric type. You can do ones based on no points, where you'd add the point values in each area. You can do it in point ranges, give someone a range of points within each of their levels of achievement and their criteria. It also uses percentages and percentage ranges. For this demo, let's go ahead and use points, and we'll do the point range. So in our design, it can be 0 to 5. Let's do this one from 5 to 10, and 10 to 15. I'll go ahead and repeat the results in these other columns here. And I'll show you the total amount of points that can be achieved within this assignment. I'm going to go ahead and hit Submit, and you've created a rubric. Now if you needed to edit the rubric, you could always click the drop-down arrow and click Edit, and then be able to take a look at all the information in your rubric. Okay, so let's see how we can actually use a rubric. For example, if we're in our assignments, and I do go ahead and decide to create an assignment, so we'll give our assignment a name. I think I already had an assignment, so I'm going to name this one 2. And then you can give your assignment instructions, the different things about the assignment, but this is where you can add your rubric in the grading area. So if I hit Add Rubric button, I can hit Select Rubric, and then it'll show all the rubrics that I have created. I can go ahead and select that item and Submit. So since we already associated points with this particular rubric, it's going to automatically assign the maximum points possible as whatever the maximum points can be achieved within the rubric. So I'll hit OK. I'm going to drop that 45 in there. And now that I have the rubric associated with this assignment, I have a few different options. First off, I can remove the rubric by clicking the Remove button. I can click this button to view the rubric. I didn't fill out the areas of the rubric to give some information, but that would show if we decided to go that way. And also, I can click on here to edit the rubric if I need to do some quick edits. So I'm going to hit Cancel in there. Now you can use it for grading or some sort of evaluation. I'll use this one for grading here. Make sure it's associated. And finally, you also have some options of how the students will see the rubric. By default, the students will not see it. But if you highlight this button, you can show them the rubric with scores, without scores, or after grading. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes with scores. Now once I submit the assignment, the rubric will be associated. So here I am in the student view, taking a look at the assignment that has the rubric attached. The student will go to the assignment. They'll be able to look at all the instructions and information, but next to the points possible, they'll have the View Rubric button. Clicking View Rubric, bring up the information about the rubric so they'll know what's going on. You can hit Exit. So they would typically go through there, turn in their assignment. And now let's go and take a look at how this instructor will grade this assignment using the rubric. So I'm back in Blackboard as the instructor role, and a student has turned in an assignment, and I'm using a rubric with that particular assignment. So I'll jump into the Grade Center, and I'll go take a look at the assignment that's been turned in by clicking the drop-down arrow, clicking at View Grade Details. Then I'll see that there was an assignment that was submitted, and I will grade that attempt. Okay, and so here we are in the attempt. Scroll down, take a look at some of the information, review the attempt, make sure the assignment is looking good. Now I'm ready to grade my attempt. You'll go down to here, and you could type in a grade right off the bat, but since we're using a rubric, you click the View Rubric button. So let me get this adjusted on my screen here so you can see all of it. Okay, so here's the rubric. Now you're going to notice that we did a point range before, so they give you a kind of a percentage range. Now if I click this drop down, you can select what point value within that range that they're actually going to get. So I'm going to go ahead and click on 6 points here. This particular one, I'm going to give them 15 points. They did well in their organization. And finally in this area, I'm going to go ahead and give them 6 points. So you're giving them a point within that range that you had originally set up when we put this rubric together. So as you get further down on the page, you'll have the ability to take a look at what score they're going to get. If you need to change their score to bump it up for some reason, they've got some extra credit points or whatnot, you can drop that in there. I'm going to leave that alone. If you had any feedback on any part of the attempt, you'll notice that each area offers you a feedback zone, so you can feedback on that particular area inside the rubric or outside, just a general overall feedback to the student. But once you're ready, you'll click the Save button, and it's going to enter the grade automatically in there, and then you'll have to go down to the bottom of your attempt and click Submit one more time, and then your grade is going to be associated with that student. No longer was there going to be a little exclamation point. So if I go and scroll down, I'm going to return into my Grade Center and take a look, and sure enough, in assignment 2 I have the 27 points that I was able to click to using my rubric. So that concludes this tutorial for Blackboard Learn.